Become our own best friend. If only somebody had actually come to me or opened the door and I could have listened to them about some of the things that I had to learn in a really painful way, that would have helped. So what we're doing today is sharing from our years of experience, over 40 for me. And as you'll hear, if you go to YouTube, you'll hear from others too on this topic as well, Mike, from not Michael, actually, Andrew and Nadine. But the topic is a gift you will have for life is to become your own best friend. And as I share this topic, know that Agape Encounter, like those who are watching the seminar at the moment, or those who are watching YouTube, the seminar on YouTube, please, if you get stuck or this stirs up something, just give us a ring and we will make time to facilitate you. And what we do is we never give advice. We just listen to you and get you to listen to yourself, but under the guidance of the author of life, or the one who created you, who sees you inside out to only reveal that which needs to come into the light, come into the truth, and it transforms all the negative feelings and thoughts. So bear that in mind as I talk today. This is just, might stir up some things in you as it has in me. And talking about that, one of the ladies who came to our seminar years ago, and there's been many over the last 21 years, her name, and I'll call her Bev, came, and I've written up a little booklet on Find the Beauty Within, which you can download from the website. She, when we asked her, would you let the wonderful counsellor show you, what are you feeling? And she said, the first word was, and I'm just going to spell the words because I don't really like pronouncing it. She said, I feel like S-H-I-T. I said, okay. So would you like me to listen to more about what's creating that, other feelings around that, other thoughts and beliefs? Because as you believe, so will it be done to you. And if you feel like that, you'll find that you'll attract more of that. And so to stop that, we need to listen to your heart, your feelings, and those feelings will always lead back to what you're believing about yourself from maybe some recent or past circumstances. So we listened, and she said, it's a memory's coming of my father. Oh, she said, I can't tell you, as a result of the way he behaved and what happened between us. She said, so young, I didn't know what to do. So we explored all her negative feelings and emotions, and there was lots. And then we asked the wonderful counsellor to show her what she felt like, apart from those words, feeling yuck. And we explored a list of feelings about believing what she believed about herself. And of course, she turned on herself as well, hating herself, loathing herself. There was no sense of becoming her own best friend because that was like a brick wall. No matter how much you can read all the affirmations and how much, I did earlier on, quoted scripture, whatever. Sometimes that works magnificently, but in my case, when there's a layer of dirt underneath and everything else, which relates to all the belief that we took on as a result of the way we've been hurt, that needed to come to the surface, as it did for Bev this day. And in the end, as I asked her to listen, she held the words that she felt so bad about herself, and they were the words S-H-I-T, worthless, no good. And it was a sense of darkness around her. So I said, if you like or dislike yourself, now this is the key. One of the keys to becoming our own best friend is to listen to ourselves under the guidance of love. She hated herself and she strived to change herself, but it never worked because that had embedded itself in her memory and her mind. So I said, just hold it, look at it, let's face it together. And we'll ask for the perspective of the wonderful counsellor, the one who's created you. It's a sacred moment when we do that. And as we waited, She experienced a light in the darkness, a presence. And I said to her, now look back at the memory. I'm cutting this very short. Look back at that memory, Bev. What do you feel when you look at that memory with your father? And she said, oh, I said, do you still feel like you're that bad, like you told me? No, she said, it's not relevant anymore. I said, so do you still hate yourself? Because she acknowledged that and let it go. No, I don't. That's irrelevant now. And all the other negative feelings and all the negative beliefs I went through dissolved. The memory was still there. There was no pain or anger or resentment or frustration. So I said, how do you feel? And she said, I feel safe, secure. I feel I belong. Like no one else can touch me. It's like I'm in a presence and in light, and I feel so different to when I first began listening to myself under the guidance of the wonderful counsellor. And she left in a different state altogether. So that could no longer be triggered off when other people, because she stopped hating herself, others would have hated her. She was rejecting and judging herself, so others would have done the same. And I know all about that because for years and years and years, I remember saying, having a chat to my creator and saying, why is everyone at me? Why are they always dumping on me? And it was because, and as I sat and listened to the answer, he revealed to me that I was actually dumping on myself. I had unrealistic expectations to make everything right and everybody right and everything better. I take on a savior role, and I'd become exhausted and resentful, a ball of resentment. And it wasn't until I listened to myself and also let go of my expectations, because it's one of the seminars that we're going to run soon. I was realised that I didn't need to have no, God, and my creator didn't have expectations. He just wanted me to listen to the truth. And as I did, as Bev did, it just all dissolved. Now, what did I have to do? The first step, practically, to do this, is to stop. Now, many of you have heard it, as I've said over the years, because I was a bit like the road runner. I was always into the doing. I had to stop and decide and make it a time to be still. Every day, 5 minutes to start with, 10 minutes, and then went on. It just got bigger and bigger because he began to touch me. I just made it an absolute habit. I practice being still and coming to him just as I was, with all my feelings, thoughts, anger, whatever it was, unloading, and then waiting and saying, well, I haven't got to start with 30 odd years ago. I said, I haven't got a clue what to do about the circumstances, that person, but I want you to come in and you can be my wisdom. So as I sat and waited, again, peace would come. So an awareness. So number one is sitting still, becoming aware of what you're feeling under the guidance of the wonderful counsellor, and then listening to the truth within you, experiencing the feelings that happen as you listen to you come into the presence and the truth, another perspective, wisdom, truth, rather than living from lies and deceptions and roles. That's the thing that really stopped me becoming my own best friend. I used to have the roles, and this is a way of me surviving because I came from a very broken household. They were broken because they had broken parents. And I was the one that somehow or other, I guess I was so broken. I just so needed to really get present to myself, become my own best friend. So that is what I had to do. And as I did that over the years, my whole inner being changed. And then it went crazy for a bit because people didn't like the new me. And then slowly, there was transformation, particularly with relationships of those who dumped on me, those who expected things on me, because I'd set myself up, to be there for. Now I'm only there for the people wisdom wants me to be there for. And it's wisdom that I listen to, who makes it light and easy. So look at the fruits. What about the fruits in your life? Do you listen to you? Do you take time to be still? Now, once upon a time, way before this journey, personal journey, getting present, becoming my own best friend, and knowing the friend within, all I knew was to pray. Because, I felt so bad as a child, I became so good. And I was praying so hard, I became responsible, and I was bent over like that, exhausted from praying so much. Now, a relationship requires two people to say something and listen. I wasn't listening. So listening to yourself is so key. And then listening to the truth within you, even if it's darkness. Listen to the part of you in the darkness, all the feelings, all the beliefs. Now, if you can't listen to any of that, listen to your body, because your body's going to speak. I remember years ago, I had a problem with my body. I was in pain a lot because I had so much anger and resentment suppressed. And the resistance to looking at that, because I already felt bad enough, was so bad I just kept the lid on it. And of course, that created enormous stress in my body. Now, as I listened to it and I allowed the lid to come off, did you hear that? Listen, allowing, and I listened, all the pain in my body began to change. But get this, I remember one day thinking, well, I'm going to fast today because some situation in my life was absolutely dire. So I thought the way around this is I'm going to fast. Now, there is a time to fast. But I said, so wisdom, I had begun to ask questions. Wisdom, what would you have me do? Because I'd always ask rather than go off on my own tangent, which would often lead me up against a brick wall. So he said to me, before you learn how to fast, I want you to learn how to eat properly. Because I was so busy doing and helping, I hadn't taken 3 meals a day. I hadn't stopped to become present to my food. I wasn't treating my body as it should be treated. I wasn't seeing what foods agreed with my body. So my body could operate properly. It's one of the wheels on your car. So that was something that and stopping to have a proper breakfast, a proper lunch, and a proper dinner, that was huge. So that was becoming my own best friend. What do you do with your body? And I know that when I used to skip meals, I'd stuff any bit of junk I could put my hand on, and I'd have too much of the wrong thing. Now, how are you going to learn to be still? I'm going to repeat this because I've said it before. It's a decision. Do you want to become your own best friend? Do you want to, if you want others to listen to you and you want others to love you, there's a law, love your neighbour as you love you. First of all, the first one is love your creator, your God, with all of your heart and all your mind. And I understand now why that's the first, because from that place we're safe and secure. And we can live in this broken world, broken yet beautiful world. So please, what do you do to yourself there? What are the fruits of your life? How are you treating your body? Are you stopping? Are you listening? Are you asking for the truth to be revealed? Are you willing to change? Now, are you willing to let go of the resistance? So the one who's within you anyway can reveal and heal and restore. And before today, I said, I had a terrible night last night because the link went crazy. How does something in the link suddenly have a change when you just copied and pasted it? Anyway, we sorted it. It's typical before a seminar. And so I had to learn to be peaceful and to accept it and acknowledge it. What do you do when something about you doesn't live up to your expectations? Or something, a computer or somebody doesn't live up to your expectations? How do you feel? Can you become your own best friend and listen to yourself? Can you do little random acts of kindness to yourself? The other night I thought, Helen, this is good, healthy self-talk. It's time to go and have a bath. You need to stop and go and have a bath. So I took myself off to a bubble bath. You know, one of those ones with the magnesium in it. Do you do that sort of stuff? Do you take time? Are you heavy or are you light? Heaviness is always an indication that there's oppression or expectations, responsibility. These are the roles that I was going to mention before. Becoming a saviour, or else if you don't do those, they're all heavy, by the way, and they don't ever work for very long. They only actually wear you out and make you frustrated and exhausted. And there's the other role, it's a way of surviving. And the other role, if you don't do any of those, often you become a victim or a doormat. Do you relate to any of that? Or do you want to become your own best friend? And lastly, as I come to an end, do you want to listen to the friend of all friends, the one who can guide you and help you, the one who can be your best friend, your creator? Are you willing to love him first and foremost? Are you willing to put him first before all your wants and needs and expectations of others so they don't do it to you? Are you willing just to spend a few minutes being still each day in solitude throughout the day, being still? Are you willing to do that for you? What would you say to yourself? What awareness do you have? And as I was going to say before, the image I got was me of, after last night, of me, today I got this image, of me dancing through the tulips, tiptoe through the tulips. And that's how I was to see today, because I find it challenging, because I'm human and I have stuff going on in my life. And to even set this up is just a miracle. So I believe we're all called to go tiptoeing through the tulips. But like a child, as I heard when I was at Mass this morning, we're all children in this world. And as little children with parents, don't little children rely totally on their parents? Will you rely totally on the one who created you so you can become your own best friend? How he created you in the beginning. Second commandment, love your neighbour as you love yourself. Ultimately, it will break down. Even if you're doing good stuff, if they come back at you and expect things of you, you'll eventually get resentful or you'll retaliate or react. To become your own best friend with perseverance and persistence. And yes, I do, and I have over the years quoted scripture, words, that are relevant to me in becoming my own best friend. I'm created in your image and in your likeness. Thank you for showing me that. That fills my mind, so all these other negative things about myself, the self-doubt, etc. come in. Well, I've said enough now. That's enough for you today. Plenty. But just before I finish, I want to ask the wonderful counsellor to show you what is the one thing he is asking you to change in your body, mind, heart, and spirit, so you can become your own best friend and friends with the friend of all friends, where you never feel alone. Just sit and be still for a moment and listen. Now the next question is, I'm going to ask for grace. Are you willing to allow the author of your life, who's going to give his own life, are you willing to allow for that grace, the saving grace? It is it's a free gift to guide you from healing, to take time become aware, to be still, to listen. Not just talk, but listen. Not just one word, but to listen. Will you do that? Will you make a decision? Listen to yourself now. You can make it now consciously. I recommend that you write down, I hope you made a good decision then, for you, because you are a gift, and a gift that you'll have for life, so why not make the most of it and become your own best friend? And write down whatever it is that wisdom is showing you with His grace to work on first, moment by moment. And if you muck up and you don't do it, give yourself a hug. Give yourself a hug and say, well, we're learning. We're little children. We're listening, learning, and we're learning to be loved and to love ourselves slowly, gently, in every area of your being. Thank you for listening. You can access all this talk at any time on Agape Encounter YouTube.